What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Yuya Nagamura back again for another video, and today we're doing a Red Eyes deck profile. It's about time, man. So, without further ado, I'm not even gonna waste any time. Let's crack right the fuck into this. Starting with our main boss monster, 3 copies of the Red Eyes Black Dragon. This card is the namesake of the deck. It's the card we run at 3, and the one card that we want to get out a bunch of times. This is a strategy that I call a Sightless Red Eyes Revival. You'll understand when we get further into the deck why it's called that. But what's a Red Eyes deck without a little bit of soul? Red Eyes Soul. So this is a card. This is the first effect monster in the deck. We run at 1. His main effect doesn't really matter, where you can discard him when your opponent special summons a monster to special summon a Red Eyes monster, I believe, from the hand. Special summon. When your opponent special summons a monster, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard to special summon one Red Eyes monster from hand or deck. So that's not too bad. It's a really easy way to interrupt your opponent mid-game. But for the most part, we're running him for his second effect. Target 1 Red Eyes Black Dragon on the field. Quick effect: inflict burn damage equal to its attack points, its original attack points. But we can only do this once per duel. But there is an actual right answer to what we're using that on. We play 3 copies of this awesome beast of a monster, the Red Eyes Meteor Dragon. You can send one level 5 or higher Red Eyes monster, normal Red Eyes monster, or I guess technically just you can send a level 5 or higher normal monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard. So, from the deck or hand, doesn't matter, which is actually really powerful. Special summon this card, and if you do, increase its level to level 7, meaning that we can utilize this as a way to go into our level 7 plays off of a few different mechanics. Things like Return of the Red Eyes, which, as long as we control a Red Eyes monster, we can special summon another directly from the grave. This sets that up super easily. The main thing here, though, is actually its secondary effect. When this card's in the graveyard, except for the turn it was sent there, we can banish it to search off the Red Eyes fusion of the deck. So this is a really important thing that I'll get into in just a moment. Actually, let me zoom in a bit. Oof, too much. Okay, anyways. Then we play a single copy of the Archfiend of Lightning. Now, this is a pure Red Eyes deck, and yes, I could use Summon Skull, but I'm choosing not to. Mostly just due to the fact of I like this card, and I just like to have something interesting in the deck and not play the deck the way most people think. But we also play 3 copies of Darkness Metal. This card is able to banish a dragon monster on the field, and then because we banished a dragon monster, we can special summon this card, and it can revive 1 dragon each turn. So it's very strong, and it just helps keep our Red Eyes plays going. It's a pretty good extender to make like multiple flares in turn. So, and Flare Metal is going to be a pretty easy boss monster to go into with this deck. And I play a single copy of the Red Eyes Darkness Dragon. This card's pretty... Let's be honest, this card's bad. But I thought it would be fun to just run as many Red Eyes as I could in the stack. And this one reads, tribute a Red Eyes Black Dragon, and if you do, special summon this card. It cannot be normal summon or set, but it gains 300 attack for all dragon monsters in the graveyard. So this card can be used as an OTK card. Granted, it is a very slow card and not the greatest card in the deck, but it is a card that at 1 can be utilized to close out a game. We play 3 copies of the Black Stone of Legend. This card is actually pretty damn nuts. This card allows us to special summon, I believe it says, tribute this to summon 1 level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster directly from the deck. This is, in its own right, super powerful. We can just drop an Archfiend of Lightning, or a Red Eyes Black Dragon, or Red Eyes Soul, or Meteor. Anything is possible with this, and that's why I love it. You can also shuffle back a Red Eyes card to get this card back into your hand, so it has looping effects. Granted, you can only use one effect per turn and one each per turn, but it's actually kind of better than White Stone of Legend in that regard, because it's actually able to recur itself, which is something that Magician's Rod is able to do. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But unlike Magician's Rod, where it requires a monster to be destroyed for its recursion effect, this one just can do it itself by shuffling stuff back from the index. It's pretty good. Then we play 3 copies of Black Metal, and this card is absolutely bonkers. This card is essentially just link fodder for the most part, but it can equip to other Red Eyes and give it 600 attack, or actually, is this 600? I didn't actually read that properly. Yeah, 600 attack, and if it's sent to the graveyard, from the field to the graveyard, we can search any Red Eyes card. Any Red Eyes card we want. Any of them. Any of them. Darkness, Red Eyes Black Dragon, Red Eyes Fusion, any of them. So, yeah. Super, super nuts. We play 2 copies of the Red Eyes Alternative Black Dragon. This card allows us to tribute 1 Red Eyes monster from the hand or the field to special summon this card. And if it's destroyed, I believe by battle, if this card is destroyed by battle, or if this card in the owner's position is destroyed by your opponent's card effects, target level 7 or lower Red Eyes monster in your graveyard, except for Red Eyes Alternative Black Dragon, special summon it, and if it was a Red Eyes Black Dragon that was special summon this way, double its original attack. We play 2 copies of the Red Eyes Fusion. I'm only running 1 actual target for Red Eyes Fusion in this deck, but 2 is consistency's sake, and this way there is just another option for getting into stuff if people, great example, what was the deck I played against? It shuffles, it flips it back into the deck. There are a lot of cards can do this in the game. But Odd Eyes has something like Vortex, which can flip it back into the extra deck. And this just allows me to go back in for another attempt with, like, Black Comma or something. Then we play 3 copies of Polymerization. This will make more sense when we get to the extra deck. But for the most part, I just thought, if I'm going Red Eyes, I might as well start using some old school cards, and what better old school card than the one card that enables all of our plays. We're going to run 3 copies of Card of Redstone. This card's not too great. It requires a level 7 in hand, a discard for some drawing, but it sets up the graveyard, and that's the main thing that we're looking at here. It's really good early game just because it gets us 2 Red Eyes in the grave instantly and can send any level 7s So Alternative's an option, Flare's an option, if I was running Flare in the main deck, and that's an option, and even Soul. So 3 copies of the Allure of Darkness. I just like to have as many draw cards as possible, especially in a deck that's revolved around luck. So, in all honesty, 3 Allure of Darkness. It's a gamble. If I don't have a dark monster in hand, draw into nothing, I just lost the entire duel. But hey, I'd rather take that chance than not, because when it comes to a Joey Wheeler kind of deck, we should be willing to risk it all, you know what I mean? We're going to run the 2 copies of the Inferno Fire Blast. This card says that we can target one of our Red Eyes Black Dragons on the field, inflict burn damage equal to its original attack. This is super good with Red Eyes Fusion and Black Comet Dragon. This combo, in unison with Red Eye Soul, is actually able to steal us games outright. We run only 2 copies of it instead of 3, just because making enough room for other cards I wanted to run, like the Dragon Shrine, which we run 2 copies of. Dragon Shrine can allow us to send Red Eyes to the graveyard, and this is another kind of niche way for us to pad the graveyard with multiple dragons, because if I send a normal monster, being my Red Eyes Black Dragon, I can, it's just him for now, but if we ran, there's a reason why I mentioned Flare, because of the side deck, but this can actually send 2 dragons, not just 1. So this actually allows us to pad our graveyard even further. Return of Red Eyes at 2. The return of the Red Eyes. As long as we control a Red Eyes monster, we can special summon a normal Red Eyes monster from the graveyard. Pretty sure it has to be normal. Oh no, it just has to be a normal monster. Yeah. So we can target one normal monster in the grave. This is every turn. We can special summon a Red Eyes, and it's just a really cool thing to be able to enable, especially with so many ways to enable this card in this deck, because of things like Blackstone being able to get us a free Red Eyes, which then enables this card, which allows us to get a second Red Eye on field, go into Flare Metal, or if we have Poly in hand and Blackstone, we can summon Archfiend of Lightning and then summon Red Eyes and make Archfiend Black Skull Dragon. So it's really cool. And another card that's just kind of useful because of the revival aspect is the Red Eyes Spirit. This card is absolutely bonkers because it says target a Red Eyes in the graveyard and special summon it. This has no limitations. You can summon fucking any Red Eyes card off this. Any Red Eyes in the graveyard is fair game when it comes to Red Eye Spirit. Moving on to the extra deck, this is going to be pretty simple. Black Comet Dragon. Its main purpose here is burn. When this card is special summoned, it requires a level 6 Dragon monster and a level 7 Red Eyes monster. These 2 cards basically mean Meteor and whatever level 7 Red Eyes I want to send at the time. But he can also send a Red Eyes from the deck and inflict burn damage equal to half the original attack. Its main purpose is being in here to enable both Soul and Inferno Fire Blast, both of which cause burn damage. Archfiend Black Skull Dragon as our other ace monster here, or boss monster here. He requires a normal Archfiend level 6 monster and a level 7 Red Eyes. I believe it has to be Red Eyes Black Dragon. Yeah, it just has to be a Red Eyes normal monster, so it could technically be Flare in some situations. Basically, what this card does is it can't be responded to. It's like Ancient Gears, but better during the battle phase. Because they can't activate shit during damage calculation whatsoever. I'm pretty sure they can't. Actually, let me double check that, because I'm pretty sure this card says you can only summon one Archfiend Black Skull Dragon once per turn. If this card battles an opponent's monster, effects cannot be activated until the end of the damage step. So, yeah, can't stop this shit. Like, you can't activate anything during combat with them. Then we play for another generic boss monster in the deck. Personally, one of my favorite cards in the game, Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. This is a dark deck, let's be honest. We can make him super easy in this deck. So, why not? I'm gonna kind of like, if it's something that's super generic, I'm not really gonna go over its effect. Basically, this says target a level 5 monster on the field that was special summoned and copy its effect or attack. So, Boral Furious Dragon just requires 2 dark monsters, whereas Starving Venom requires them to be on the field. Furious can be in hand. So this could set up our set up a few plays by, I don't know, let's say the only 2 cards we've got in hand are a Metal Dragon, which we're wanting to send to the graveyard, and a I don't know, Darkness Metal or something that we can't really use in hand because we'll have nothing in graveyard off that. We can actually fusion these 2 off to make Boral Furious and go from there. First of Dragon. This card's actually pretty cool. It cannot be destroyed by battle by anything but normal monsters. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Anyways, we played 3 copies of Red Eyes Flare Metal. Now we'll get actually back into the Red Eye stuff and actually explaining them. This card has 2 effects. One of which is not once per turn. One of which I believe is... Oh no, it's not once per turn. Yeah, no, this fucker's not once per turn. Cannot be destroyed by card effects while this card has XYZ material. While this card has XYZ material, each time an opponent activates... Okay, so it can't be destroyed while it has XYZ material. While this card has XYZ material, each time your opponent activates a card effect, inflict 500 points of burn damage to your opponent immediately after resolution. Once per turn, quick effect, you can detach one material from this card, then target a Red Eyes normal monster in your graveyard, special summon it. This can actually technically bring back Archfiend of Lightning, as well as Red Eyes Black Dragon. Essentially, the easiest way to manipulate through this is just getting shit you're wanting. For the rest of the XYZs, we're just running Big Eye, which steals shit, and Zeus. I shouldn't have to explain what Zeus does for you guys. You guys know what Zeus does. And if you don't, he sends the entire board to the graveyard. So, singular copy of Striker Dragon. This card is actually only in here to tribute off the Black Metal. Link Karibo's banned. What am I supposed to say? I guess I could probably... No, I literally don't have enough. I guess Alu Mirage could be a substitution. Well, anyways, this just means that if I do special summon the Black Metal off some other way, I can still tribute it, or send it. Dark Charmer. This allows us to yank a dark monster out of my opponent's graveyard and special summon it to our field, as well as Link climb into Nightmare Unicorn, which can shuffle a monster back a card. I think it's... Is it monster or is it card? Discard 1 card from your hand, target 1 card on your opponent's field. Yeah, I was pretty sure it was just cards. Nightmare Unicorn is pretty good. For additional OTK options, Boral Sword. Just a really good boss monster that I run in every deck that I can make him in. and an underworld goddess of the closed world. The reason for her is just dealing with towers, dealing with bosses I can't traditionally deal with. She's my answer to cards like, I don't know, Beel's the Diabolic Dragon. That's it for the main and extra, but for some bonus, I'll show you guys the side. So for the side deck, we're playing 2 copies of the Red Eyes Flare Dragon. The reason for this is 2 additional level 7s in the deck that we can side in at any point. And this is just another additional normal monster while in graveyard. So helps extend into more XYZ plays for the most part, and is also fusion material for our fusion monsters for the most part. We have 2 copies of the Retro Dragon. Retro Dragon's pretty basic here. If he's in hand and a Red Eyes monster is destroyed by the card effect, we can special summon him, special summon the monster. We contribute him and conduct another normal summon of a Red Eyes monster, but this deck's kind of moved past this card, so it's really only here as a like on archetype hand trap basically. So it allows me to run it in the deck at 2 for the most part. Red Eyes Wyvern, another kind of niche card. Just because there is so many ways to actually get it into the graveyard and then banish it in certain circumstances, it's just kind of okay. Red Eyes Toon Dragon, the reason I'm again another level 7 that we can utilize in this deck because it is a Red Eyes monster, even though it is a toon. Mostly just XYZ fodder, as well as being a level 7 for Carter Redstone. 1 Black Dragon Chick. This allows us to special summon a Red Eyes Black Dragon from the hand. This isn't that good. I'm just gonna be honest. This is one of those things of, it's in here because it's a Red Eyes card, but this card is a rare card you could drop, honestly. We play 3 copies of DD Crow. This card is the real hand trap that I like to utilize. It being a dark monster as well. It can be allure fodder if necessary. Mostly it's just a way to deal with decks that have graveyard plays, that have cards that... I play against a lot of Alistair the Invoker, and DD Crow's is a great way to shut off the Alistair plays, so that's why we run that. Other than that, it's kind of just in here. Triple Tactics Talent, and if my opponents do have hand traps, it's nice because I can Triple Tactics Talent and draw 2, steal a card. What was the other thing that this thing does? Look at my opponent's hand and choose 1 card and shuffle it into the deck. That one's actually pretty useful because you can actually see your opponent's hand and see what they're doing. So there's no way that they can really like surprise you with anything. So you can kind of strategize around that. Monster Reborn. Reborn the Monster. This card is obviously a really good one of, and it's just another revival option in all honesty. And then 2 compulsionary evacuation devices. Now, I'd personally recommend running Lightning Storm over these, but as I've said, I like to use some of those older cards and see what I can do with them. With that being said, that's the deck. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, obviously, do all that sort of shit if you would like. If not, I fully understand. I'm not going to force you to. What am I? What am I, your father? All I'm gonna say though is thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the very next video. Peace.